Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. Today's episode is called Things You Can Do with Pierogi. Because I know everyone says, well, what do you do with a pierogi? So usually what you do with a pierogi is you boil it and you take some butter and melt it in a skillet and saute onions in it and then put the butter and onions on the pierogi and eat them. That's it. That's one thing you can do with a pierogi. Some people like to fry their pierogies, so they take their pierogies and boil them. Then they put them in a skillet with melted butter and fry them, and then they eat them with melted butter and onions. But I made a one-pan pierogi dinner, and it was really good, mainly because I didn't know what to make for supper, and these are the things I had on hand. And I thought, I'm going to throw all these things together and make a dinner out of them, and I did. It was good, too. You could also do this with ravioli if you had ravioli on hand. They would work well. I'd say probably cheese ravioli, and I think I've done a similar thing with cheese ravioli, but I liked it with the pierogi, so here it is. If you buy pierogis at the grocery store, like Mrs. T's pierogis, they have a variety of fillings in them, so you can get whatever filling that you would like to use. If you're using locally made pierogi, if you live in an area where you can get locally made pierogi, you can also do the same thing because a lot of places that make pierogi are very creative with their fillings. I used some homemade pierogis that had my Mary Mac Bakehouse spinach dip mixed in with the potato filling, so it was like a potato, spinach, onion, dill filling in the pierogi kind of a thing. So that's what I used. So like I said, you could use plain potato pierogis would work fine for this, or whatever filling that you like, or even lasagna. So basically...
Or even ravioli.
I mean, lasagna. Did I say lasagna?
Yes, you said lasagna.
Do not put lasagna in this. It would be too much. Okay? You want ravioli.
Put a whole pan of lasagna.
I don't know where lasagna came from. My gosh. That's ridiculous. I often just say crazy stuff when I'm doing this podcast. It just flies out of there, and I don't know where it comes from, so disregard that. So anyway, here's what you want to do. I'll give you the list of things that I put in it. You can obviously put in whatever you happen to have available in your refrigerator that would go well together. But the first thing that you want to do is cook your pierogis, and you just cook them in boiling water according to the package directions. Take them out and drain them and set them aside, okay? Because you're going to be browning them up later, but they do need to be cooked first. So you're going to need a large skillet, large heavy skillet. You'll need a little bit of olive oil, 1 pound of Italian link sausage, either hot or sweet, a dozen pierogis or cheese ravioli, a 1/4 cup of butter, 2 large peppers, red, green, yellow, orange, whatever colors you want, cleaned and cut up into chunks, 1 large onion cut up into chunks, 2 cups of spinach chopped, not real small, like maybe more like cut in half, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And then what you're going to do first is cook your sausage. So take that large skillet and put about a tablespoon of olive oil in it and put your sausage links in there and cook them. You want them to be nice and browned up and well cooked because they're going to be put in like finished. It's not going to really be, cooking a little bit more. So cook your sausage. When it's done, take it out and put it on a plate and cover with foil. Now add 2 tablespoons of butter to that same skillet, and let that butter kind of deglaze your lovely sausage drippings off of it, and mix it in there, and then put in your peppers, onions, and garlic, and let them cook until tender, which a good way to do it is put your onions and garlic in first and get your onions to where they're starting to cook, then add your peppers, because onions take a little bit longer to cook than peppers. So do that, cook them till tender, and remove them to a bowl which already has your chopped spinach in it, and set those right on top of your chopped spinach. The heat from them will start to wilt your spinach, and then when you dump this all back in together, your spinach will be partially cooked. It doesn't take spinach long to cook, so that's going to be a little speed up step in the cooking. Now you're going to put 2 more tablespoons of butter into the skillet and let that melt and deglaze everything that's already been in the pan before. You know, all those little goodies that are stuck in there. And you're going to put your pierogies in and brown them on one side and then turn them, brown them on the other side. Once they're browned on both sides, which takes about, I don't know, like between 5 and 10 minutes, depending upon how hot your skillet is. Once you've turned your pierogies and they're browning on the other side, you can take that sausage, you're going to cut that into 1-inch pieces and put all those little 1-inch pieces around the outside edge of the pan, okay? Then you're going to put your peppers, onions, spinach, and garlic in the center of the pan and cover that and let that heat for about 5 minutes. Turn your heat down on your burner to low and let that heat up for about 5 minutes. Then take your lid off, carefully turn everything over and make sure everything looks like it's well blended there and serve. And just take a scoop of pierogi with all of those vegetables and a little bit of sausage there, and that is it. It was really good, which now I'm reading the recipe. I got to make this again because I do have more pierogies in my freezer. This was really, really good. So this is a thing, you know, that I always get that. I think that's so funny, but people will ask me, like if we're selling pierogies, they'll say, so what do you do with pierogies? How do you cook them? What do you do with pierogies? And I always think, like, doesn't everybody know what to do with pierogies? But apparently people don't. So this is just one more thing that you can do with a pierogi. Pierogies are good. The great thing about pierogi now is they're getting to be more popular all around the country, and you can go into most grocery stores and get some kind of a pierogi. But some grocery stores, especially in the more ethnic, like Eastern European areas, where you have more pierogi eating persons, they have like, you can't even believe that there's just like 25 different kinds of pierogies in the freezer. That's pretty impressive, especially like if you go into a bigger city, you know, and you get into a nice big grocery store. They have a lot to choose from, so you could really make some neat combinations with this. And also with the ravioli, this is so good with cheese ravioli. Instead of doing sauce, it's just doing a bunch of fresh vegetables on it and doing this sort of a topping. It makes a delicious meal also. So just something different instead of sauce or aioli or anything like that. It's just something different to do. So give it a try with your next pierogi that you have and let me know what you think about it.
And make sure to check us out online on Facebook and Instagram at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on Twitter at Mary Mac Podcast, and on our website, marymacpodcast.com.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you.